Level 1. The partnership. You are 28 years old, and you are sitting across a table from the person who is about to become your business partner. His name is James. You have known him for 6 years, since the second week of university, when you ended up in the same study group for a finance module and discovered you were both more interested in the conversation about what you were going to build after university than the content of the module itself. He is the person you called when you got your first job offer. He was the best man at your wedding. When you told him the idea 2 years ago, over dinner at a restaurant you both agreed was too expensive and went to anyway, he leaned back and said, "I've been waiting for you to say something like this." The idea is a platform for small businesses to manage their supplier relationships, contracts, payments, compliance, in one place. You will be CEO. James will be CTO. You will own 50% each. You discuss vesting briefly. James says, "We don't need that. We trust each other." You agree because you do trust each other, and because a conversation about vesting schedules feels like a conversation about divorce before the wedding. You will think about this decision later. You incorporate on a Tuesday. 2 days later, you both resign from your jobs. James resigns first. You watch him send the email and feel something close to pure excitement, the kind you haven't felt since you were a child. The first 8 months are the best 8 months of your professional life. You work from James's spare bedroom. A whiteboard takes up most of one wall, never fully erased. New ideas layered on top of half-erased old ones. You bring in 7 paying customers in the first 4 months. MRR at month 8, $14,400. You are both drawing $3,200 a month, less than half what you earned before. But the thing you are building is real and working and yours, and that combination is worth more than the salary differential in a way that is hard to explain to people who have not felt it. Level 2. The build. You are 29. MRR is $34,000, 28 customers, 2 employees, a small office that costs $2,800 a month and smells like the previous tenant's coffee. James builds fast. He sees the architecture of a problem before other people see the problem itself. The product he builds is cleaner than what you described. Features you thought were 12 weeks away arrive in 6. You divide the world cleanly. He owns everything inside the product. You own everything outside it. Sales calls, customer meetings, the conference in March where you speak on a panel and 3 people approach you afterward and 2 become customers. There is a specific quality to working with someone who knows you this well. You don't finish each other's sentences in the way people say that about partnerships. It's quieter than that. It's the way a conversation can move from a business problem to a personal one and back without either of you noticing the transition. The 11 p.m. call that starts as a product discussion and ends with him asking about your father's health because he remembered the appointment was that week. The Saturday morning he drives 40 minutes to help you move a server rack when you could have paid someone $200 to do it, because that's the kind of person he is. That's the kind of person you believe he is. You raise the seed round in month 14. $800,000 at a $4.2 million post-money valuation from an angel who found you through one of your customers. You and James read every clause of the term sheet together on a video call. The pro rata rights, the information rights, the protective provisions. You are thorough. You are aligned. After the call ends, he sends you a message. "We're really doing this." You send back, "We really are." You are 29 years old. The business is working. The person building it with you is your best friend of 6 years. You do not know yet what is happening in the background. Level 3. The growth. You are 30. MRR is $89,000. Annual run rate just crossed $1 million. 14 employees. The product has become something customers depend on daily. Not a nice to have, infrastructure. James has started missing things. Small things at first, easy to explain away. A product roadmap meeting he joins 20 minutes late and contributes little to. A customer escalation he was supposed to handle that lands in your inbox instead. A Friday afternoon where 3 Slack messages to him go unread until Monday. You notice. You don't name it. You tell yourself he is in a hard technical sprint. You tell yourself that founders hit walls and come back from them. You tell yourself that 6 years of knowing someone means you understand their patterns, and this is just a pattern, and it will pass. You are very good at telling yourself things. The Series A closes in month 22. $3.4 million at a $16 million post-money valuation. You and James now own 38% each after dilution. Combined paper value, $12.2 million. The lead investor joins your board. James attends every board meeting. He says the right things in all of them. He is good in rooms, always has been. Composed, specific, credible. The board likes him. What you do not know. The first fraudulent vendor payment was made 4 months before this board meeting, while you were preparing the Series A pitch deck, while you were both telling investors about the trust and alignment at the core of the founding team. He was in the room when you said those words. He did not flinch. Level 4, the first sign. You are 31. It is a Tuesday in February, and you are reviewing the monthly financial report your accountant sends on the first of each month. The report has a line item that doesn't look right, a vendor payment, $4,200, to a company name you don't recognize. You check the vendor list. The company was added 6 months ago. You search the name in your email. Nothing. You search it in your Slack. Nothing. You call your accountant. She says the payment instructions came from James's email address. You sit with that for a moment. Then, you go back through the previous 5 months of reports. You find 5 more payments to the same company. Different amounts. $2,800, $3,100, $4,800, $2,200, $4,200. Total, $17,100 across 6 months, in payments small enough to sit below the threshold that would trigger an automatic review. You don't call James. Not yet. You call a lawyer first. She listens to everything. Then she says, before you do anything else, you need to get a forensic accountant to look at all of it. You ask how long that will take. She says 2 weeks. You say, 2 weeks of sitting across from him in the office, knowing what I know? She says, yes. You do the 2 weeks. You learn things about yourself in those 2 weeks that you did not know. You can hold a conversation with someone while knowing what you know about them and show nothing. You can sit in a product meeting and ask the right questions and laugh at the right moments. You can send a message that says, good work on that, and mean none of it, and have it received as genuine. You are more capable of performance than you knew. You do not feel good about discovering this. The forensic accountant's report takes 18 days. The total is not $17,100. It is $340,000 across 22 months. Payments structured deliberately across 4 separate vendor accounts, amounts varied to avoid pattern detection, all initiated from James's admin access. The earliest payment was made 3 months after you raised the seed round. 3 months after the video call where you read the term sheet together and he said, we're really doing this. Level 5, the confrontation. You call him on a Thursday morning and ask him to meet you at the office. Just the 2 of you. You send the rest of the team to work from home without explaining why. He arrives at 9:15. He is wearing the jacket he wore at your wedding. You don't know if this is coincidence or if some part of him already knows and chose it deliberately. You will never ask. You put the forensic report on the table between you. You had planned what to say. You had rehearsed it in your car for 20 minutes before going inside. The prepared words don't come. What comes instead is a single question. Why? He looks at the report for a long time. Then he looks at you. Then he says something you were not expecting. He doesn't deny it. He doesn't construct an excuse. He says, I needed the money, and I told myself I'd pay it back. And then I told myself that every month for almost 2 years. You sit with that. Then you say, you were going to be a millionaire. We both were. We were 18 months from a Series B. We were building something real. He says, I know. He says it the way someone says something they have known for a long time and have been unable to stop knowing. The meeting lasts 40 minutes. You say very little after the first 10. Your lawyer handles the rest over the following 3 weeks. The separation agreement, the share buyback at a price that your lawyer negotiates down to reflect the breach, the non-disclosure provisions, the repayment schedule for the $340,000 that you both know he cannot realistically meet. He is gone from the company in 31 days. Level 6, the rebuild. You are still 31. The board knows. You told them the day after the confrontation, directly, completely, without softening. The lead investor said nothing for a long time after you finished. Then he said, "What do you need?" That question, the simplicity of it, you almost couldn't answer. You need a new CTO. You need to explain to 14 employees why the person who built the product they work on every day is gone without explaining why he is gone. You need to manage a board that now has reasonable questions about your judgment, not stated directly, but present in the way questions become more detailed and the follow-up emails come faster than they used to. You need to tell your wife. You have been carrying this for 7 weeks, and you need to tell someone who knew him at your wedding and whose face will do something specific when you say the words that you are not ready to see. You tell her on a Sunday evening. Her face does the thing. You were right that you weren't ready. You hire a new CTO 8 weeks later. She is technically stronger than James and has none of his specific liabilities. The product does not miss a beat. This fact is both reassuring and quietly devastating. The reassurance that the company is bigger than any one person, and the devastation of discovering that the person you thought was irreplaceable was not. The Series B closes 14 months later, $11 million at a $48 million post-money valuation. Your stake, 31.2%, worth $14.9 million on paper. The investor who asked, "What do you need?" leads the round. Level 7, the cost. You were 34. The company was acquired 8 months ago. $180 million, all cash. Your proceeds, after taxes, escrow, and transaction costs, $41.3 million. You were worth $41.3 million. James stole $340,000 from you. Relative to the outcome, the amount is almost meaningless. You have done this math. You have done it many times, hoping it will resolve something. It does not resolve anything. Here is what the math does not account for. The 6 years before the company. The study group in the second week of university. The dinner where he said, "I've been waiting for you to say something like this." The whiteboard that was never fully erased. The video call where you read the term sheet together and he sent you the message, "We're really doing this." The version of the future you were building that had him in it. He contacted you once, 2 years after he left. A short email. He said he was sorry, in a way that was genuine and insufficient simultaneously. You read it 3 times. You did not reply. You filed it in a folder you have not opened since. The people who ask you about him, old university friends, mutual contacts, you say it didn't work out, and you move the conversation forward. That is the whole story you tell. The longer story lives in the accounting of what trust actually costs when it is placed in the wrong person at the wrong moment. Not $340,000. Not even the months of carrying it before the confrontation. The cost is the permanent recalibration. Every partnership conversation since. Every term sheet. Every person who says, "I've been waiting for you to say something like this." The specific fraction of a second before you believe them fully, where something checks. Where something that wasn't there before is now there. Where you are doing a calculation you never had to do with him in the early days and do automatically with everyone since. That is what he took, not the money. The version of you that didn't have to calculate. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.